think the relationship that sales and marketing can have is magic for companies. And if you do it right, it has magical results. So that's, I think, what we're all about.
Here's the skinny. 2/3 of the deals you have in your pipeline right now ain't gonna close, and that sucks. There's a way we can fix that though, and on this episode, we're gonna tackle that. Stay tuned. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we have a fantastic guest who's coming with us. He's a CMO from Allego, which is an amazing organization in the sales enablement world, which you should check out and see some of the cool stuff that they're doing. We have links down in the show notes, but their CMO today is Wayne St. Amand, and Wayne and I had a good conversation. We talk about these 2/3 deals that are not closing and how sales and marketing can work together to help us get some more of those deals closed. And it's about creating content at that last mile, how sales is that last mile, and we're going to tackle that. Now, I bragged about you being the marketing, half of this conversation today, how you bring a lot of wisdom on that. And I gave a little bit about you, but tell us a little bit more about your background and what you do, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been a technology marketer for, I'm scared to say it a little bit, almost 30 years now, working in SaaS technology companies. And really kind of a hallmark of my success is working really closely with my compatriots in sales and sales leadership. A lot of times you see conflict between those groups, and it's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of conflict between sales and marketing. Not on my teams, not in my efforts. I think the relationship that sales and marketing can have is magic for companies. And if you do it right, it has magical results. So that's I think what we're all about.
1/3 of most pipeline is what closes. 1/3. And I think there's obviously many things that organization can do. There's a lot of diagnosing that we probably could do from that, but we don't have time nor means to do that. However, we were able to identify some things that can help. So why don't we dive into that real quick and start looking at a conversation. I'm the sales guy. I want more deals closed. How can you help me? How can we work together to make that happen?
Yeah, no, these are sort of like the ever-present questions in our industry, right?
Yeah.
And from the marketing perspective, I can tell you that I and my organization, we look at sales enablement and sellers as the final mile to marketing success, right? We always, I think, are a little bit subjective in how we view the world. And, I'm a marketer, so I think in marketing terms. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to drive sales success, right? At the end of the day, any marketing success that is only a marketing success is hollow unless we have that sales victory, right? So viewing this idea that sales and sales success is that final mile, sales enablement is that final mile to marketing success is absolutely critical. And we have to close that gap that exists at that final mile. So kind of within my team, I've kind of developed this list of kind of 3 things to do more of between sales and marketing, and 3 things to do less of, because I think you need to think on both sides. So I'd love to start with the 3 things to do less of if you're game. So the first one, and this is going to sound a little negative, but I think a lot of organizations actually operate this way, is that you shouldn't allow the relationship between sales and marketing to be treated like a drive-through window. So I think we've all experienced sellers driving up to the marketing window and saying, hey, I need this thing. And then they drive off, right? And marketing goes back into its cave, works away at that thing, and then goes back up and says, here you go. And boom, they drive off, right? So that's not going to create the best effort. This leads to the second point, which is stop. And this is for marketers, right?
Yeah.
Stop guessing at what sales needs. The point here is that marketing and sales should be working together. I like to use the term co-create. Marketing should be co-creating content with sellers. It's the only way to understand what's really going to work in the field. I'm fond of saying that Sales content that is 90% right is 100% wrong for sellers. If you don't close that small gap, 90% is not good enough. Sellers are paranoid about putting the content that is just slightly off in the prospect's hands. It could kill the deal, right?
Yeah.
And they are rightly so paranoid about this, right? The only way to close that gap, get to 100%, is when sales and marketing are working together to co-create content. Don't treat it like a drive-through window. Work together closely. And then finally, I think this is advice for both sales and marketers. We've often heard the refrain from sales, I want more leads. Where are my leads? Right? This is a story as old as time.
Well, let's go over to the three things that we should be doing. These are some things that we shouldn't do, per se.
Yeah. So speaking of sales enablement a little bit, you're going to want to treat your sales enablement process, and I've talked about this a little bit already, as the final mile between you and ultimate success in the market. And I think, sellers can take this to heart, but marketers definitely need to take this to heart, because marketers are constantly producing new stuff. Marketing is in the business of the new, because marketing is working in the future.
Yeah.
Sales is working in the present, but marketing is always trying to influence the future. So if you don't think about, are you enabling your sellers, both giving them what they need and preparing them with the contextual knowledge to be confident with that material that they're going to use, you're going to have problems in that final mile. The other thing to do more of is kind of creating as much common ground as possible by finding ways to speak the same language. So if I were talking to my team, I would say, go find the top seller and start to adopt elements of their vocabulary, right? How do they frame things? How do they talk about things? Start to mirror those speech patterns, because you need to feel like you're from the same country, speaking the same language, fighting the same battles, right? Because in essence, you are. And there's probably advice for sellers as well, to think a little bit like a marketer. And if we meet each other in the middle, we're probably in reasonably good shape. And then the final one is, I guess it's a bit of a truism, and we spoke to this a little bit already. It's just more direct interaction with your market. So customers and prospective customers, those current customers, those who represent the market that have already transacted with you, they have a lot to teach you, as well as prospective customers who are just barely getting to know you, might choose you, might not. The more that marketers know about these factions, if you will, these constituents, the better job that they can do.
I wish we could stay a little bit longer and go more in depth. I want to respect your time here. But if there's one major piece of advice you want some of the folks listening to this episode to walk away with, whether they're individuals that could take it back to their marketing team, or they're individuals who are, have impact as sales leader, what's that one major piece of advice?
Yeah, excellence does not occur in a vacuum. We all think that we know our individual areas extremely well, and we probably do. But the ultimate answer and the highest level of achievement exists because we let things into the vacuum.
Yeah.
Right? We let things penetrate that. And there's a lot of learning and a lot of success that happens when you don't operate in a vacuum. So please, get aligned, don't operate in a vacuum, listen and learn from one another between sales and marketing. And that's where the magic will happen.
Listen, if you haven't done so already while listening to this episode, go ahead and connect with Wayne. You can find his information down below. You can learn about Allego and some of the great things that they're doing. Again, they produce a lot of awesome content. And no matter if you're a sales rep, a BDR, you're an AE, you're a sales leader, there's content there that you can take and help in your craft and also help your team overall. If you find benefit in this episode, please tell one other person about it. Share the link with them so they can download it. They can listen to it as well. We want you to thrive and succeed. I want you to find more of those ideal customers. I want you to know what to say when you reach out to them. I want you to be able to win more opportunities and to recoup some more of that 2/3 that are just falling away. And this episode is definitely going to help you. But most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking and go out and do big things. Thanks so much for watching.